Hello and welcome once again to the Lake District. This is Life Without Shakers. Today I'm setting off in Martindale for a tour of the high fells at the northern end of the High Street range. Should be about a 12-mile walk all in all. Starting off with High Raise, then Kidsty Pike and Rampskill Head, followed by the Knot, Rest Dodd and the Nab, which is the controversial one that should never have been in the book in the first place because it's private land. Had a bit of rain overnight, but looks like it's turning into a decent walking day. Bit of cloud around, but not too hot, not too cold, just right. So let's get on. Echo! Echo! Oh, blimey. Over 3 miles and over an hour and a half into today's walk, and I finally made it to the High Street Ridge. Not even the first summit, just the ridge. That was a tough old climb. Didn't help that I missed the main path up from Martindale and ended up taking an alternative that was about 2 inches wide and kept disappearing under ferns and streams and rocks. We're here now, onwards up to High Raise. And after almost 5 miles of trekking uphill, finally reached Wainwright number 27 of the Far Eastern Fells. This is High Raise, 2,634 feet. Second in altitude among the fells east of Kirkstone and Ullswater, High Raise is overtopped only by High Street itself. Topographically, it cannot be said to occupy an important position, for it commands no valleys and is not a meeting place of ridges. Yet nevertheless, its summit cone rises distinctively from the lofty watershed of the main range. And it's the last fell going north with the characteristics of a mountain. Just pause while this helicopter goes over. Fortunately, there's a little bit of a shelter on the summit because it's just started raining. But I'm ready for a cup of tea for trekking onto Kidsty Pike. 60 feet and instantly recognisable to anyone who's ever done the coast to coast. This is Kidsty Pike. Only truth is actually just a shot of Ramsgill Head. Just cheekily sticks out long enough to be instantly recognisable from down in the valley. Speaking of Ramsgill Head, that's where we're off to next. This is the biggest one. I've touched them both. And this is Ramsgill Head, 2,581 feet, Wainwright number 29 in the far eastern fells. There is usually little difficulty in defining the boundaries of a mountain. If it rises in isolation, there is no difficulty, and even if it is merely a high point on a ridge, invariably its main slopes go down to valley level. Ramsgill Head is geographically a key point in the High Street range. Not quite on the highest point of the ridge of the summit here. This lower cairn has a spectacular view of the valley stretching away towards Water behind me that I've walked up this morning, and a spectacular view of Restod and the Nab, which is where I'm going next via the Knot. Now, this is Wainwright number 30, far eastern fells, the Knot, 2,423 feet. That's all there is to say about that. It really is just a little mound just off the path when you come at it from Ramsgill Head. So, onwards to Restod. And unlike the Knot, Restod from here suddenly looks really quite imposing. That's a long way down and a long way back up again. Just when I thought I was nearing the turning point of getting back. This is the summit of Restod, 2,278 feet, Wainwright number 31 in book 2. Having to shout here because the weather's a bit filthy, it's quite windy and definitely rainy. Wainwright says the steep-sided ridge that divides Martindale into the secluded upper valleys of Bannerdale and Ramsgill rises first to the shapely conical summit of the Nab, and then more gradually to the rounded dome of Restod, which dominates both branches. It is a fell of little interest, although the east flank falls spectacularly in a fans of colourful screen. Right. Yeah, there is not much of a view from here, so onwards to the Nab. Right. Now time to start treading a little bit carefully or disguise myself as a stag off Westod now and onto the lower slopes of the Nab, which has long been a privately owned deer forest, as Wainwright well knew when he acknowledged not seeking the owner's permission before he explored the fell, before he wrote about it in his book. Since then, of course, since he did publish it, there is an understanding that you can approach the summit from the Westod side, but you're kindly requested to not ascend or descend from the lower slopes from Martindale, which annoyingly means I'm going to have to go all the way up to the summit and then turn around and all the way back to that wall you can see behind me, and then take the long way route, or a long way round back to the valley. It's going to take hours and hours and hours. And at long last, I made it to the summit of the Nab, 1,887 feet. Wainwright number 32 in the far eastern fells, and the last one for today, thank God, because it's been a heck of a slog getting up here. The lower slopes are just covered in swamp and bog. I've no idea why anyone would want to write about it and put it in a book. It's a bleak old hilltop with not much to write home about in terms of views. Sure, Wainwright says something nice about it, but it's too windy to read, so I'm going back. Right, well, this day is getting no nearer to ending. Wandering randomly around trying to find the path down back to Martindale, and it's brought me to the Coast to Coast path by Angletown, which is not really where I want to be, but hopefully there's a way down the side of Bedder Fell just up ahead. You've already seen this before, but any excuse to film Angletown. Well, still no nearer to finding this path down. I think there's one not too much further on, but I still haven't seen it on the ground. But you can see on the other side of the valley just how far I've come from the Nab to find this path. It would be so much easier just to go down the side of the Nab itself. That would be setting a good example. You can also see the High Street range on the far side of the valley. That's where I was earlier on today. It's been a heck of a long walk trying to find this route down. Oh, the joy! It's a path and it goes downhill towards Martindale. I finally found it. Hopefully it won't be too long till I'm back at the car. And at last I'm off the fell and back on a farm track that leads me back to Martindale. I've still got at least a mile to go. I'm nowhere near the end yet, but at least it's flat and firm. Right, almost back at the car now, nearly journey's end. It's been a tough old walk today. Really boggy in places. But 6 more fells chalked off, including 2 restod and the nab that I hope to never go anywhere near again. They were just awful climbs with the all the swamps on the slopes. It's also about 2.5 miles longer than I anticipated it being. That's entirely due to the length of time it took to find a permitted route down from the nab, rather than going down the direct route down the side of it. It was just a pain going all the way over towards Angletown and back down the side of Bedderfell. But done it now, and over the last 2 walks I chalked off a total of 16 fells, which is almost half of the walks in the Far Eastern Fells. There's only 4 more left to do in book 2 now. Can start thinking of planning for book 3 soon. Finally get a chance to showcase some areas of the Lake District that aren't around Ullswater, but not to get too far ahead. Still 1 more walk in book 2 to go, but for now, hope you've enjoyed watching today's adventures. As ever, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.